If Graham had been alive, she'd have reminded me that most dreams aren't prophetic, even if you have a knowing. She'd have reminded me of nightmares I'd had as a child, dreams of monsters that crept out from shadows with cold, unblinking eyes. And as it turned out, Graham said, those dreams never came true. She'd have reminded me that having a knowing didn't mean it was always right. But it wasn't every night I dreamed I'd destroyed an entire city. I woke shaking, a chill of dread filling my lungs. It was still dark, barely. Outside, the first gray of morning pushed back the darkness, and I heard the chatter of birds in the trees. I rose from my bed and moved to the window, placing my hands on the blinds. I heard a voice and spun around, searching the half-light of my room. Someone had spoken. Someone had spoken my name, and then a whisper. "I'm going to tell you a secret, Audrey. Don't forget." "Graham?" I asked, seeking, not seeing. "Look for the light." I was still dreaming. Then, as the dream moved on, "What do you remember?" What I remember best about Graham is walking. Summer mornings, we walked down sleepy streets where traffic wasn't heavy. We followed trails that led into parks, looping around lakes, feeling the early sun on our skin. We went just after dawn, the time of morning when the sky is the color of lilacs and the light is just beginning to crest. Every summer, from the time I was 8 until the year she died, we walked. And as we walked, she told me secrets. "Audrey," she would say, smiling, "listen, I'm going to tell you a secret." I'd lean toward her, feeling the difference in the air, as though her words cast a spell around us. Secrets had a kind of magic, she often said, but only when kept. "Don't tell," she'd say, even if it was simply a memory or a thought she didn't want repeated, and I would nod. I understood about secrets, how to hold them close, how to keep them. It was one of those things I'd grown up knowing. Some of the secrets were real. "I'm going to tell you something very special," Graham said one morning when I was 11. "I'm going to tell you who you are." "I'm Audrey," I said. She smiled, pausing in our walk to cup my face with her hands. "Yes, but that's not the name you were born with." I was young, but not too young to understand the implications of this. I fixed a little frown on my face and looked up at her. "I was adopted?" I asked. My best friend Gideon was adopted, but it had never occurred to me that I might be as well. Her laughter was soft and musical. "No, you're not adopted, but you are hidden." And then, to put me at ease, she took me home and showed me my birth certificate. Esther Audrey Whitticomb. I looked up at her, still frowning. "That's you, of course," she said. "I thought it was time you knew your own name." Panic formed, a lump in my throat. She'd said I was hidden, but she hadn't said why. "Graham," I said, "was I a mistake?" She pressed her hands over mine, those smooth hands just beginning to wrinkle. Graham was never old the way grandmothers in movies are, but she was beginning to look stretched, a little worn out. Her hair was still blonde with only a hint of gray, and she wore it long in a braid that fell down her back. But some part of me, my knowing maybe, told me that our moments were being counted off, a tally run through. I knew I should remember every detail, everything she told me. And when I asked her if I was a mistake, she smiled and held my hands when she answered. "No, sweeting, you weren't a mistake. But you are a secret, the very best kind." She never would explain what she meant by that. "What do you remember?" "Everything, Graham," I wanted to tell her. "Everything you've told me. I remember it all. Walking, the ground beneath my feet, the swell of a storm, the red summer sky. Secrets and mistakes." But the dream was fading.